What's up there everybody, this is Cob and welcome to a video. Well, we're going to be covering so much stuff in this video, it's kind of hard to generalize what it's going to be about. There have been a lot of updates to how Warlocks are going to function in Legion, specifically Destruction Warlocks, because that's what this video is going to focus on. As you can see, I'll show them on screen right now. There have been so many changes, like an amalgamation of changes, and almost every ability in the game it seems. A lot of them are just like tooltip changes. And weird little things like that. I've got them open on my other monitor right now. I'll try and make sure that I don't miss anything. But I'm not going to cover all of them. There's no way I'm going to cover all of them. I'm going to cover some of the general Warlock spell changes that I think are relevant and important. Then after that, what we're going to do is go over the destruction specific changes. I'm going to leave a link in the description below. You know, linking to MMO Champ if you want to check out the spell changes for your spec, whether you play Affliction or Demo. And yeah, after we've got all of the changes, all the ones that concern destruction, what we're going to do is go over the talent trees as well. Not the PvP talent trees just yet, we're going to go over them in tomorrow's video. I think that the PvP talent trees are just a whole other animal. I think they deserve their own video. We can go a lot more in-depth on those if we make it, you know, its own thing rather than doing like a 40-minute video or something like that. Actually, I just want to say before we get started, all of this information is very, very subject to change. We're currently in the Legion Alpha. It's as early days as early days get, basically. And to add to all of that, most of this information is actually data mined. As far as I know, so I mean, it could be 50% accurate, it could be 90% accurate. We just don't know. So if there's an insane spell change in here that just boils your piss and gets you really angry, don't worry. You can cling on to the small hope that maybe it's inaccurate, maybe it's misinformation, whatever, you know, just to put that out there. Alright, so the first thing worth mentioning with the general spell changes that are going to apply to all Warlocks, is that it appears that all of our pets, things like Fell Hunters and Succubus, all that kind of stuff, are going to be a 2.5 second cast time to resummon, which is interesting. It's nice if it's true. And even though it says 0 soul shards on the tooltip, I think that it's safe to assume that resummoning a Succubus or a Fell Hunter or whatever it is going to be costing us 1 soul shard. So I mean, I guess that this is a good change. We're going to take these good changes into account in our final valuation of the direction that we're going in Legion. It's really nice to think that we're going to have demons on a 2.5 second cast. Obviously, it remains to be seen just how viable, you know, pet specs are going to be in Legion. Hopefully they're going to be a thing again. If they are a thing, we at least got this going for us. The thing to notice is that our Infernal Summons and our Doom Guards are actually going to be 3-minute cooldown spells. And from what the tooltip says, apparently the Infernal is still going to stun targets in an area where it's summoned for 2 seconds. Now, this doesn't come as a surprise. It's one thing to be told that our Infernal Summons and our Doom Guards are going to kind of be like our Dark Soul, you know, we pop them when we want to do really big damage. But to see them actually being put on a 3-minute cooldown and to think that we're going to be able to use these in things like Arena, and Rated Battlegrounds, I mean, that's pretty awesome. I kind of like the idea of that. Some people are really, really sad to see Dark Soul go. I'm not one of those people. I think that it's fine. I'm pretty sure that we're getting, you know, we're getting a talent that's basically a Dark Soul anyway, but more on that in just a bit. I think that having these Infernal Summons and the Doom Guards on lower cooldowns, I really, really like it. Don't know about you guys. In fact, I think that we should be a lot happier than most people seem to be, that we're going to be able to use our Infernals in arenas for that 2-second stun, and just use them more often in general in things like Battlegrounds. And that's mainly because there's been a certain change. And that change is to Shadow Fury, boys. I'm not sure how many of you guys know about it just yet, so we'll hold off. We'll hold off just for now. We'll get there eventually. But I gotta tell you, it's gonna piss a lot of you guys off. If you don't know what the change is, oh man, just wait. It's coming. And I mean, that's basically everything for the general class changes. And from what I can gauge from this destruction tooltip update thing, it's getting actually a minor damage buff, which I guess is quite welcome. If we're not gonna have Charred Remains, which we aren't, small spoiler. In Legion, then we're going to be getting off less Chaos Bolts is the point. So having them hit a little bit harder, it's definitely welcome, especially that we're losing Dark Soul as well. It also reads that it's now going to consume a Soul Shard, 40 yard range, 2.5 second base cast time. Now that makes me wonder, I'm pretty sure that the current Chaos Bolt is actually 3 second base cast time, but we get a leveling perk that makes it 2.5. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I don't know. If this is a base cast time reduction like it seems to be, that's pretty damn good, especially considering that we're going to be able to unlock a PvP talent, which we're going to cover tomorrow, that actually reduced the cast time of Chaos Bolt by another 0.5 seconds. So theoretically, we could have a fucking 2-second base cast time Chaos Bolt. You know, backdraft on top of that. Man, that's going to be a pretty quick cast, actually. But anyway, moving on from that, next up we got Chaotic Energy. This is a new Destro passive, apparently. Haste reduces the cooldown of Conflag and Havoc. There you go, Haste, boys. Warlock Destruction spec specific. So that's pretty awesome. That supports my haste theory a little bit more as well. A little bit further down, we've got Havoc. I actually misinterpreted Havoc as well in the last video, and a lot of you guys were correcting me about it, and don't worry, I understand now. When it says that Havoc has a limit of 1, I thought that meant 1 spell. It actually just means 1 target. So you can't just spam out Havoc on like fucking 7 different people or something like that. And to start duplicating a shit ton of casts like a goddamn machine gun. Apparently the way that Havoc is going to work now is that you apply it to 1 target and it has no charges in that it duplicates everything. So if I Havoc some Resto Druid while spamming out, a bunch of Incinerates on some mage, it'll copy all those Incinerates and the Chaos Bolt into Conflag Shadowburn or whatever it is that I thought. It will copy everything as long as it's done within those 8 seconds. And again, that's actually a really, really good change. A lot of people are panicking reading over these changes. I think that we're not taking into account, like, it's easy to start panicking and start worrying and thinking, oh my god, what the fuck are they doing to the class? They're butchering it, they're castrating it, all this kind of crap. But honestly, I don't think that it's too bad. There are some changes that just make me want to cry, I've got to be honest. But I feel like every little change that we've gone over so far has actually been positive, so it's not panic time just yet. This Etho's a pretty crappy change. Rain of Fire calls down Rain of Hellfire, blah 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 blah, skip to the end now. 8-second cast, channeled. This is written under the Destro specific notes as well. Are we going to have to stand there and channel fucking Rain of Fire in PvP again to try and get stealthers out? I mean, I'll grant you that the spell does nothing. It's basically just rain now. I think that I put it like that before as well. It just doesn't do any damage. It's kind of just awful in every way. So actually expecting us, maybe they'll scale up the damage again. Maybe it'll actually do something. But expecting us to stand there and channel that shit in PvP is just ridiculous. I guess we'll have to do it if it's the only tool that we've got to break stealth and break shadow melds and stuff like that. Hunter camouflage, that kind of stuff. But hey, this is one of them changes. It's data mined. Don't worry. It could all be a load of shit. So from those general changes, I've got to say I'm overall pretty happy. I think that those are all generally, quite significant buffs, to be honest. Moving from them, though, to the talent calculator, oh man. Strap in, boys, because this is where shit gets fucking crazy. Let me just open it up right now. So I guess I'm just gonna have to squidge my head down for now and move myself off to the side a little bit, try and make way for this talent window where I have my mouse positioned. So as you can see, this looks very different already. So before we start going over all this new crap, we're gonna go over each talent individually. Some of you might have noticed, just to give a run through of all of the spells that are missing. I had to write them all down because there's that many that have just been flat out removed. We're actually missing Dark Regeneration, Searing Flames, Howl of Terror, Soul Link, Dark Bargain, Blood Horror and Unbound Will, Archimonde's Darkness, Kil'jaeden's Cunning, and Manoroth's Fury. That's an entire tier of talents just fucking deleted. And Charred Remains. Now, as happy as I am to see Charred Remains going, I've got to be honest, things like Blood Horror, Soul Link, Kil'jaeden's Cunning, I would have liked to see a rework of Kil'jaeden's Cunning, to try and make it fit in a little bit more. Screw Charred Remains, screw Searing Flames. Just saying, some of these, I quite like some of these talents, But anyway, out with the old, in with the new, I guess. Let's start on the 15 tier, logically, with Burning Embers right here. Your backdraft from Conflag now lasts an additional 3 seconds. Backdraft's duration is like 5 seconds now by default or something. So, this would be a nice little passive to have, but it's shit. At least compared to the other two. So let's move on to Fire and Brimstone now. This one here reads, Incinerate now hits all enemies near your target. Doesn't tell you how near they have to be or whatever. Doesn't matter. Maybe this will be okay in RBG, but then again, probably not, because if you want spread damage, you just go Affliction anyway. So, I don't know. All this is going to do is break CC for the most part. Not a big fan of this talent. I guess it could be alright in Battlegrounds if you're having a big pluggage action going on in Alterac Valley. But other than that, Then we get to the good one, boys. Oh my god. Okay, my camera's gonna cut off a little bit this tooltip, but whatever. You get the idea. It's gonna cost 1 soul shard. It's fucking Shadowburn, boy. This is old school Shadowburn right here. Instantly blast a target for a shit ton of your spell power, 340%. A shadow damage generates 2 soul shards if the target dies within 5 seconds. Let me just move this up a little bit for a second. Look at that shit. It doesn't even have a cooldown. You see that tooltip? It doesn't even have a cooldown. So if this is going to hit hard, let's be honest, it's probably going to get given a 10 or 15 second cooldown or something, like the really old school Shadowburn and that, how that spell used to be. But as it stands, if this doesn't get a cooldown, man, we're going to be gods in PvP. I don't know what else to say. I mean, just imagine for a moment, right? Applying Havoc to some little pleb at the back of, you know, a healer at the back of like an RBG, whatever, something like that. Put Havoc on him, double conflag, you know, just get yourself a shit ton of soul shards, and just spam out 5 Shadowbands in a row. That's 10 Shadowbands landing over the course of 5 seconds. That shit will be insane if they don't give it a cooldown. So they will give it a cooldown. Even if they do, though, this is awesome. I'm really, really happy to see this back. This was one of my biggest, you know, most requested spells to see come back. Old school Shadowban. Shadowban, that's basically like a conflagrate with bollock about it. It's instant cast. It's going to help us out with melees. We're really, really hitting now as Destro with the instants. So it's not Fell Flame, but it's really, really good. Next up on the 30 tier, we have Reverse Entropy. Chaos Bolt restores 25% mana. I don't know how much mana Chaos Bolt is going to take up, or, you know, if mana is going to be a problem, because we're getting Life Tap back, remember. We don't have chaotic energies anymore that quickly restores our mana, almost like it's focus or energy as destruction. We're actually going to have to Life Tap again, so maybe it'll be relevant, but honestly, I can't see it, especially compared to, you know, what's coming up. Not Roaring Blaze. This one sucks as well. When you incinerate and immolate a target, rather, the remaining damage of the immolate is increased 10%. Refreshing immolate will return it to its normal damage. So this is crap as well, because in PvP, I mean, you just got to imagine a rogue training you, or a warrior training, or a DK, you know, whatever. Someone's pummeling your face in. You manage to get off the immolate. How many incinerates are you really going to land? And how long is it going to be before that guy's heal bot just dispels the immolate that you've spent all this time spamming incinerates into, just to kind of try and beef up its damage? I don't know. I think that this talent sucks ass. I think that's basically PvE talent. This brings us on, though, to fucking Mana Tap. Now, Mana Tap is basically Dark Soul Point 2. Consumes 40% of your current mana. So you can use it on like 10% mana if you want. And you'll still be able to use it, to grant you a 15% damage buff for 20 seconds. Again, this one currently reads as not even having a cooldown, so theoretically you could maintain this forever. Maybe they will give it a cooldown, but I don't really see the point of that. If mana is going to be like an issue for Warlocks and we're going to have to actually be life tapping, then spending 40% of your mana, you know, every 20 seconds to kind of try and maintain maximum amount of DPS, that seems like a good enough cost to me. And either way, though, this talent is probably the best on the tier. You just pop it before you go for massive burst damage. Conflag Mana Tap, Chaos Bolt, Conflag Shadowban, or some crazy shit like that, and just global somebody. Obviously, we probably won't be able to spam like a million Shadowbans in a row, but you know what I mean. This is a really, really good talent. Anyways, next up we have Soul Leech. Garbage talent, basically been a PvE talent ever since it was created. We don't even have to think about this in PvE. I guess it's alright in PvE. You don't really need Mortal Coil or Shadow Fury in PvE anyway, so you don't even want to ever consider taking this shit talent. Moving on, we got Mortal Coil. Basically unchanged from what it normally is. 45-second cooldown. 20-yard range. Is it 20-yard range on live right now? I swear it was a little bit longer range than 20 yards. But anyway, it's basically the same thing. Horrify a target for a few seconds. You can double this up with Havoc, which is pretty nice. It's like a Destro only thing. Now we get to Shadow Fury, boys. Mortal Coil could well be the future of destruction. Look at this shit. Do you notice anything, guys? Oh my god. Stuns all enemies within 8 yards for 3 seconds. 30-second cooldown. Well, it seems pretty good. But wait a minute. Have you seen the fucking cast time? I mean, 1.5 second cast time? I don't know what the fuck they were thinking when they gave this a 1.5 second cast time. Consider a Warrior's Shockwave. They do still have Shockwave in Legion, right? I'm not just talking shit here. A Warrior's Shockwave does damage, as well as stunning on an AoE, instant cast. And now you want to tell me that a spell that's been 0.5 second cast at the most, ever since it was created, you know, in the history of the game, they're now going to make it a 1.5 second cast. I mean, I would actually go as far as saying that Shadow Fury is unplayable in that state. I think that is so shit. I can't even 1 second cast is too long, in my opinion, for that shit. Is 1 second cast time too long if they reduce it to 1 second? See, Shadow Fury in this current form, 1.5 second cast, it should have the effect of Cataclysm as well, shouldn't it? Wouldn't that be awesome? That would be a talent and a half, man. I'd pick that out. Maybe reduce the damage a little bit, in fairness, because Cataclysm does hit pretty hard. It's just the cast time that's the problem. But this current Shadow Fury right now in that form, not playable at all. I can't even speak properly. What I meant to say is not playable at all. It's going to be all about Mortal Coil on that tier. Alright, Fuck Shadow Fury. Shadow Fury, rip. Moment, please, for Shadow Fury. First it was Fell Flame. Now it's Shadow Fury. We've already lost Shadow Flame. That ain't coming back, apparently. Fuck it. Anyways, moving down a little bit. We've got Eradication. This is going to be our go-to talent on 60, I'm telling you. Case Bolt also increases the damage you deal to the target by 20% for 6 seconds. That just means that you Case Bolt some poor bleb, followed up with like an Incinerate Conflag Shadowburn. Boom. That's so much damage, man. This is a really, really good passive. Awesome talent. Cataclysm, unchanged. Unfortunately, they've left it on the 3-second cast time. So it's a PvE talent at best, basically. But it's a real shame. I would love to use the spell in PvE. PvP, rather. Honestly, thinking about it, maybe like Infernal Stun on the 3-minute cooldown. Drop the Infernal instant. Stun them. It only stuns them though for 2 seconds. Try and get off a Cataclysm cast. Something like that. Maybe that could sort of kind of theoretically work. But then again, maybe not. We'll see how it works out. It needs to do a stupendous amount of damage for this fucking spell to be worth it. So, in my opinion, Eradication, way better so far. Next we have Soul Harvest. Looks cool, because it has the Dark Soul icon. Refill 5 Soul Shards. 2-minute cooldown. Instant Channeled. I don't know what that means about the cast time. How can something be channeled in? I don't really know what's going on there. It's a little bit sketchy. But either way, it's not something I'm going to even consider ever picking. Ever in my life. Oh man, I'm almost reluctant now to move on to this next tier because I can see it. I don't want to see it, but it's there. We just gotta confront it, boys. Let's do this together. This one, even more than the Shadow Fury one, this one actually offends me. It's that terrible. I mean, the spell in and of itself obviously isn't terrible, but we've had this as a baseline spell since when? Yeah, we've had this crap since Wrath of the Lich King as a baseline spell for all specs. Now it's a talent, and even worse, right? We lost Soul Link, we've lost Dark Pact. No, we haven't. We've lost Soul Link, we've lost Dark Bargain. So all we have left is Sacrificial Pact, which they've renamed to Dark Pact. We're just not even going to look at Burning Rush. Fuck Burning Rush, man. Who the hell looked at that talent and think, you know what? I think that we should keep that talent. That's quite a lovely talent. That a lot of people like to use that. The fuck is wrong with people? But anyway, all we have left now is Sacrificial Pact, aka Dark Pact. And now we've been forced to choose between Sacrificial Pact, which is really good as well, and Demonic Circle. Now I appreciate there being a hard choice on a tier, but when it just seems unfair to make us choose between the only mobility that is good that our class has ever had, and essentially the only defensive talent available to us now. I don't know how I feel about this. Again, we're just going to skip over Burning Rush. Sacrificial Pact has basically been renamed to Dark Pact. Nothing's changed with it. So honestly, this tier makes me upset about life. I guess we'll get to that when we get to it. Once I'm done covering all these talents, by the way, no, don't want my mouse on there. Once we're done covering all these talents, I'm going to go over all of them and try and put together a spec that I think is going to be the go-to spec going on what we know so far. So moving on, we have Grimoire Supremacy. Empowers your demon pet, causing it to have 20% increased health and deal 20% increased damage. So it's exactly the same, basically. It gives you a beefier pet. Grimoire of Service is unfortunately exactly the same. I'm really sad not to see like a cooldown reduction, or maybe even just to have it like not trigger a global cooldown. But yeah, unfortunately Grimoire of Service is going to be sidelined for the entirety of another expansion, it seems, because Blizzard listen to feedback every day, boys. And next up we have Grimoire of Sacrifice, and this one has been changed. Sacrifice your demon to gain demonic power. Same cooldown, last 60 minutes. Demonic power causes your spells to sometimes deal an additional X amount of shadow damage to the target and other enemies within 8 yards. Now, first thing I noticed with this is that, well, not only it's not giving you a solid DPS increase anymore. It's not like an exact amount. Like right now, it's like, is it 50%, 15% or something? So it's basically like a proc. It's going to be a proc to deal a certain amount of damage, which could be really good, it could be really shit. We just don't know how much bonus damage it's going to give us yet, so that makes it really, really hard to judge. But I'm already feeling myself move away from this talent a little bit now, purely because it no longer reads that we gain one of our demon's abilities. Like when you sacrifice a Fell Hunter, you gain Spell Lock. When you sacrifice a Succubus, you gain the Whiplash. It doesn't say that anymore. Now, maybe they just need to update the tooltip, but this leads me to believe that Grimoire of Sacrifice it's done, man. It's over. If you don't have that utility, if you don't have that fucking Spell Lock, which is so important in so many scenarios in PvP, then honestly, if it's just going to be like a flat damage increase, I don't think that it's worth it. I think that Grimoire of Supremacy might actually outperform Grimoire of Sac in the next expansion, especially considering how easy it's going to be for us to summon pets back. Maybe we'll have to go Demonic Circle to portal away and resummon pets when they die. I don't know, though. We'll get to that in just a bit. So moving down just a little bit. Last tier now, we have Wreak Havoc on the 100 tier. I think that these are all new talents, apart from Demonic Servitude, actually. So we've got 2 new talents. Havoc now lasts 20 seconds. That's up from 8 seconds. And has no cooldown. So I guess that basically means that you can swap Havoc between any target that you want. And like we said, Havoc no longer has any charges. So being able to, swap between any target you want and just constantly be spamming damage, this talent theoretically should be making every single cast that you do, apart from Fear, a double cast. Not sure how good this is. It's gonna be one of those things that we're gonna have to test. To be honest, I'm least sure about this last tier of talents. So we'll just move on to Channel Demon Fire. This was one of them that was revealed quite early on, actually. Launches 15 bolts of Fellfire at immolated enemies. They have to be afflicted by immolate within 40 yards over 3 seconds. Each bolt deals X amount of fire damage. So again, we don't actually know how much damage this is going to do in comparison to other abilities. But I don't know, for this one again, I don't just want to keep on saying this, but I sort of have no choice. If we can't see how much damage they do, it's really hard to judge them. We're just going to have to test this one up against Wreak Havoc and see which one's better. Demonic Servitude, I still have no love for at all. If we're going to have Infernals and Doomguards on 3-minute cooldowns, then why the hell would we want to spec into the... this talent got even worse, right? Because, why would we want to exert permanent control over Infernals and Doomguards when they're now on a 3-minute cooldown, thus making them usable in Arena? It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me, and it's kind of sad. I was hoping to see this talent as well be another one that gets looked at, but it and fucking Grummav Service are basically untouched, which is stupid as hell, and Burning Rush, fuck you as well. These talents should have been removed or reworked, you know what I mean? Not kill Jaden's Cunning and bloody Howl of Terror. But anyway, that wraps up all the talents, guys. Now to quickly go over all of them again, try and pick out what spec I think is going to be the go-to one. I think that tier 1 Shadowburn, it's not even a contest. I think that Mana Tap here is basically going to be the new Dark Soul. Why wouldn't it be? Roaring Blaze I think sucks. Reverse Entropy restores mana. It's basically a PvE talent. Mana Tap Shadowburn. This tier, Soul Leech, shit. Shadow Fury, it pains me to say it. It actually makes me sad, but it's just not playable in that current state. It's got to be Mortal Coil, especially because we can double Mortal Coil with Havoc. It basically has passive synergy with Destro, so... But as for Shadow Fury, we'll never forget Shadow Fury. It will live on in our hearts, along with Fell Flame and Shadow Flame. Anyway, Eradication, this tier, Cataclysm's garbage, Soul Harvest, PvE talent at best. Even then, I think that most PvEs will probably just go for Eradication anyway, right? So that's Eradication. This tier, I want to say Demonic Circle, but it's honestly really, really hard. We still don't know whether we are losing Ember Taps completely as well. As it happens, I just scrolled through the abilities, Ember Tap doesn't even exist anymore. So I actually think that we might have to bypass Demonic Circle and go for Dark Pact. Just because we don't have anything else to survive with, it seems. But I don't like this at all. I hope that Demonic Circle will be made to work. It just depends how tanky we are. If we are tanky enough, we can go Demonic Circle. But for now, I'm just going to have to say Dark Pact. On this tier, I think that Grummav Sacrifice... I could be wrong about this. Grummav Sac could turn out to do an awesome amount of damage. We just don't know from this how much damage it's going to do. So I'm just going to have to say Grummav Supremacy. And on this last tier, I guess I'll go with Wreak Havoc. Wreak Havoc, it sounds really fun, it sounds really interesting. Channel Demon Fire, it's going to be one of those that's really, really hard to predict. And this right here then is probably the spec that I'd go with. Maybe it's on this side or that. I don't know which side I'm going to be on, alright, damn it. But I think that this spec right here is probably going to be the go-to spec with how things currently stand, If I was to get alpha access tomorrow and... Well, I do have alpha access, but all you can play is Demon Hunters right now. But if I was able to play Destruction Warlocks tomorrow on the alpha, this is the spec that I go for. This is the spec that I try out. One little slice of theory crafting though that I'm just gonna put out there to you guys. Could work, might not work. It depends if Grummav Sac, the damage proc from this, the random amount of shadow damage that's gonna deal. If it has no internal cooldown and it can just proc at any time, you could go Grummav Sac, Channel Demon Fire. Why could this be awesome? Because this launches 15 bolts over 3 seconds to all immolated targets. If you have, let's just say 2 targets immolated, that's actually 30 instances of damage, right? That can potentially proc this blob of shadow damage from Grummav Sac. So if it doesn't have an internal cooldown, or it has a really low internal cooldown of like 1 second or something, you could churn out a shit ton of shadow damage from that, But that's just theory crafting. back to the regular spec. I think that this is probably going to be the spec that we're looking at, boys. So I guess some things to just wrap up with. What are my thoughts so far? We've definitely had some weird changes. Things like Rain of Fire maybe being channeled again. Things like Demonic Circle being a talent and Shadow Fury having a cast time. And there's some really strange, really questionable changes coming in. But as always, you know, there are always some good changes as well to sort of fall back on. I mean, we're getting Shadowburn back. We're getting the old school awesome Shadowburn back. With pets being a shorter cast time again as well, maybe pet specs will start to come back for Destruction. I'd quite like to see that, to be honest. All in all, though, from these changes so far, from what we've seen so far in this video, go over the PvP talents tomorrow, remember, I'd say all in all, we're probably a little bit weaker from these changes, you know, to how we are in Worlds of Draenor. We're probably going to be a lot more fun to play because Shadowburn is going to be awesome. No more Chad Remains or any of that crap. We're actually going to do like sustained DPS again. So that's all really cool, but I do think that we probably in a little bit of a weaker spot actually to where we are in WoD. I will say though, just wait for tomorrow, guys. I'm going to record the PvP talents one. I don't just want to bolt it onto this video because I'm going to be blabbering on for quite a while over the PvP talents. There's definitely a lot of stuff to talk about with those. But for now, I guess I hope you guys enjoyed these updates. As always, feel free to just lob any thoughts or feelings you have, any comments down below in the comment section. I'm sure a lot of you guys have a lot of stuff to say. A lot of rage to get off your chest to do with these changes in particular, so have at it. I guess that's what the comment section's there for, you know. But for now, yeah, I just want to say thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit like. If you want to see more, make sure to subscribe. If you want to support the channel like a fucking legend, link to the Patreon page is always in the description. You can go there and make a pledge, show some support that way. But I'm going to wrap it up here, guys. Cheers, goodbye, everyone. Have an awesome day. I'm going to catch all of you guys in tomorrow's video.